is really a product of what happened in the garden. What garden am I talking about?
The Garden of Eden.
The easiest way I can put it is sin, or in other words, evil, or trouble, or all the things that we experience or see on a daily basis that is not good, was a result of a choice that the first mankind made. This is the most critical part, I think. All of mankind now is a product of this death. They live in this inevitable death because they're no longer connected to life. Know that it does not come from God. One, it came from a product of sin in the world, and the only way out.
You were never meant to have this type of suffering, this type of pain,
or do it alone. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Pillay Place podcast. I am Rahul, and your host, Van Pillay herself. And at the Pillay Place podcast, what we do is we talk about faith, family, and finance. And why is that? Because we have learned in our journey that faith, family, finance are actually the three key pillars that gives you the most fulfilling life. And our goal here is to give you some of the practical aspects, whether you're an individual or family, in enhancing your best life now through faith, family, and finance. So today's topic is about what happened in the garden. And our goal is really to kind of reveal to you or help you identify some of the troubles that we go through on a daily basis is really a product of what happened in the garden. What garden am I talking about?
It started in the garden.
It all started in the garden. What do you mean by that?
The Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden. Okay.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Well, I think you tell the story, and then I will go from there.
Okay. I mean, the easiest way I can put it is sin, or in other words, evil, or trouble, or all the things that we experience or see on a daily basis that is not good, was a result of a choice that the first mankind made.
Yeah. Can you go through the story?
Yeah, so this happened in the Garden of Eden. And in the Garden of Eden, what had happened was the first human beings, that was Adam and Eve, they were given a choice. And there was, in the middle of the garden, they were put in this garden to tend to the garden, and God did that. And this whole story is written down very well in the book of Genesis. I'm just going to cliff note it for each of us. But there were two trees in the garden. One was the tree of life. And essentially, it signifies us being connected to God, because God is the author of life. So he gave life to Adam and Eve, and he's like, this is how you're connected to me, through the tree of life. Mm-hmm. But right in the middle of the garden is another tree called the knowledge of the good and evil. And there was only one rule that humans had to live by, which is not to eat of that tree. And you might say, well, why did God do that? Why did God put a tree that they should not participate in the middle of the garden?
Mm-hmm. I think I've always had that question. Like, why did he put the tree there in the first place? It
would defy, well, are you going to answer it, or is there a rhetorical question, or are you asking me?
Well, it gets me thinking. Like, I kind of think of it as, okay, I'm sending my kids into the room filled with outlets.
Yeah.
And I say, don't touch the outlets.
Yep.
And then what do?
Well, yeah. I mean,
they would touch the outlets, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this says a lot about who God is.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a lot of misconceptions about who God is.
Yeah.
Like, we ultimately think that, okay, people tend to think that he's like a controlling God. But if he was so controlling, he wouldn't have given us that choice in the garden.
Yeah, and that's literally why he did it. You're absolutely right. He did it for our free will. So if he didn't put it there, then he would defy the rules of free will, right? We wouldn't have a choice to actually not choose life. So what happened was Adam and Eve and Adam, I'm just going to summarize, got deceived by the devil. Mm-hmm. And the deception was, well, you guys should eat this fruit that comes from the knowledge of good and evil, because the moment that you eat it, you will become just like God. That was the temptation.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's slow down a bit.
Yeah.
You will be just like God.
Correct.
Right. And I think there's a lot of messages in here like obedience and things like that. But then at the same time, the devil, like serpent here represents like the devil,
Yeah.
right? And he is saying a half lie, which ultimately is a lie. And the best lies are the ones that are mixed with truth,
Correct.
right? And so you will be like God. We were already made in his image.
Yeah. We were already he made us exactly in his image. That's what he says, right? So the Bible says that we are made in his image. So there was nothing holding us back from like that. We were as simple. And just to give you an example of that, when we have kids, they look like us. They are made in our image.
Yeah.
So that starts somewhere.
But I think that it's more than just the physical features,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
the characteristics,
Of course.
or like the potential inside of us.
Yeah.
Like I think that's also what it means. You say it all the time. Like our youngest, he's like, you're just like mama.
Yeah.
That's
right.
her feistiness or her whatever that she does. She's like, you're just like mama.
Yeah.
And the two older ones very much are like you. and so especially the
For the
second
audience,
one.
there's a very hidden message in that,
Okay.
and I don't really have a comeback. But okay, let's get back to this.
But what was I saying? So then it sounds true to Eve,
Right.
right? It sounds true to Eve, and and the word says, when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, pleasant to the eye, and a tree desirable to make one wise, right? She took off its fruit and ate.
Yep.
And there's this thought that she's seeking to be like God.
Right.
And what was I going to say about that? And I think oftentimes in our real life situation, like our everyday situation, we get there too. We like, oh, well, if I read this book, if I get into devotion or things like that will also help us be more like God.
Yeah. It's interesting that you point that out because it shows that she strived to be like God, and it's such a big deception because you already are just like God.
Exactly.
It's inside of you. But here's the amazing part about that is that God said the moment that you eat of this fruit is the moment that you will die, right? He's talking about the consequences of being disconnected from who? From the tree of life. When we're disconnected from him, the source of life, it's like being unplugged from the electrical socket that you were talking about. The moment that you're unplugged from the electrical socket, you no longer have the source of energy.
Yeah.
Same as this, you're disconnected from life. So death entered into the world through that one of disobedience, right?
Yeah.
And now all of mankind, this is the most critical part, I think. All of mankind now is a product of this death. They live in this inevitable death because they're no longer connected to life.
Yeah. The fallen and still falling.
That is why somebody has to, the only way to defeat this would be somebody would have to die and then gain life again. Does that make sense? Like you can only defeat it if you enter into this fallen state
Yeah.
and then beat the fallen state. And that's why God had to send Jesus. It was the master plan. Because Jesus is literally a full man. He takes on the consequence of sin. He dies. And then 3 days later, God's Spirit raises him from the dead.
Yeah.
That's the gospel. Like, that's the beautiful thing he did.
I mean, he did it in our place.
Exactly.
Right. And it actually reminds me of something. So I heard this story when I was younger, so I don't know how. Well, this story was, so I have 5 older siblings, and my oldest sister at the time, like, already have her driver license. She's a strong driver. And then my 2 brothers I think at the time was like learning how to drive. And so one of my brothers was backing up the car and hit the car, like the bumper or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna get in so much trouble and dad's gonna know that it's me. And so I think my oldest sister, Nicole, I think she went ahead and she's like, I'll tell dad that I did it.
Ah,
Okay.
that's sweet.
So my dad came home and he was like calling out my two brothers, which one of you two was the one, and they're twins, right? Which one of you two like hit the car?
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And then Nicole, my sister, was like, I did. Right. And I'm like little, I don't know, 7 years old or something like, and I'm trying to like, wow, like my sister took the blame for my brothers.
Right.
You know, she didn't have to,
Yeah.
but she did because, and my dad knew that it was he looked at it and he goes, these are the boys. Like the boys
Yes.
did this.
Yes.
Like one of the boys did this. And it's definitely not the sister
Yeah.
that did this. And he knew, but he was like, okay, well, she took the blame and, you know, and that was done.
It shows unity.
Yeah.
And and the one, I think this is really important for those of you that are kind of just going through struggles or going through trouble and trying to figure out life. Well, just know that the trouble is what is a product of this sin, right? It has no life in it because it's something that was caused by sin entering into life, into our livelihood, essentially.
We inherited that.
We inherited that because of mankind's fall, right? And in order to overcome that, we need to understand it's the reunity with God. So why would God do this? God would do this for us because, one, he loved us too much, right? Two is because we really don't have a choice here. We can't do anything to get out of this state. There's nothing we can do. That is why organized religion doesn't work, because it puts it on you to come up with your own salvation plan, and that does not work. You really have to believe in Jesus. That's the only criteria to be saved, right? And why is that important? Because the moment that the Spirit raised Jesus from the dead was the moment that that Spirit now has authority. It has authority back, and it can actually dictate, okay, what would it take to obtain this salvation that I just achieved for mankind? And his only criteria was believe in me, which actually means to reunite with me. Just reunite with me, like what my intention was to begin with.
Yeah.
And I can help you overcome all those issues, the mental torture, the anxiety, the health issues, the financial struggles, right? Like he takes a pleasure in being a part of our everyday life.
Yeah. It's taking back what was originally created.
That's right.
Like he did not meant like for sin to happen.
Yeah.
Like he planned Garden of Eden to be everything and more,
Yeah.
right? But because of sin,
That's
because
right.
they disobeyed, that happened.
Yeah.
And all because of a trick. Like,
that's right.
right? And I actually think, when I was looking at this, I think the word says, I was afraid because okay, so tell the story. So after they sinned, what happened? After she ate the fruit.
After they ate the fruit, then I'm summarizing, but God kind of draws them out of the garden.
Well, in the part where they ate the fruit and then they immediately saw that they were naked,
Yes.
right? And then they quickly found some fig leaves to
Yep.
cover themselves up. And then God came asking, like, where are you? And Adam went to go hide.
Yep.
And Adam said, I was afraid because I was naked. And God said, have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? three things happen. There was a blame that happened, right? The woman, Adam said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the tree, and I ate the fruit, and I ate. And this goes into communication.
Yeah.
Like how when we get into conflict, this is like the first conflict
Yeah.
with Adam and God.
Well, you're disconnected from life.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to be in conflict now.
Exactly. And immediately there was a blame,
Yeah.
and we see that in communication and relationships all the time,
Yeah.
right? Before they even take, like, I'm sorry, babe, I didn't listen. It was more, I was busy,
Yeah.
and then immediately started hiding.
Yeah.
And that's shame happened the first time in history.
That's right.
Then they, second thing, avoided responsibility, started blaming,
Yeah.
and then made excuses. And, he teamed up with Eve to bring sin into the world. Shame is defined as a painful emotion characterized by an intense feeling that one is fundamentally flawed, bad, unworthy of love and belonging. Shame focuses on identity versus feelings like guilt, focuses on bad behavior.
Yeah.
And like I did something bad versus I am bad.
Yeah.
I am not good enough. Like it's an identity thing. And you can identify shame because shame like thrives in secrecy.
Yeah.
He went to go hide.
Right.
Right? He went to go hide. When we feel ashamed, our instinct is to hide.
Yeah.
I think of remember that time where Noah was sneaking around
Drinking soda. Yeah.
drinking soda, and I knew he was doing that,
Yeah.
and I kind of just looked at him, and then he kind of was like hiding under me, and
Right.
like there was a lot of shame,
Yeah.
like he was feeling, right? And sometimes when I'm working with with people,
Yeah.
it always goes down to like they don't identify themselves with what the Lord had said about them, but they identify with what they are telling themselves or the lie. And immediately it goes back down to shame.
And I like what you're saying because, and we'll wrap up here shortly, but let us close the part about identity, right? What had happened was the moment that you're disconnected from the tree of life, which is God Himself, right? You are you are no longer, you don't have the source of everything that you were created for. So all the troubles that you face, right, now will tell you all the things that are lies about you, right? And the best way to identify what's coming from the tree of life or the source of life is to just look for good. If it's good, then it's from God. If it's not good, then it's not from God. And here's and I know there's some variations, right? Because there's sometimes good things that the enemy says, but it's really not good.
Well, it could appear good.
It could appear good.
Yeah.
So in order to really,
I mean, that's exactly what the serpent did.
right?
It
He
appeared,
half-lied.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
appeared good.
Correct.
It's rotten on the inside, but on the outside it looks great.
Yeah. So it's like counterfeit money, right? If you want to know counterfeit money, you don't study the bad. You actually study more of the real money,
Yeah.
and you'll figure out when the bad one comes out, right? Or the lies come out. So similarly, when you are connected more to the root system, to God Himself, to Jesus, right? The better relationship that you have with Him, the more you're able to identify what is not from Him.
Yeah. Do you think that when they got disconnected from the tree of life, it was an immediate connection to the tree of knowledge, good and evil?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, so I'm glad you brought that up. The thing about the knowledge of good and evil now is they have this eye opening, which is what happened to them.
Yeah.
Is that now they have the ability to make decisions for themselves, and they decide what's good and bad. The problem is if you're not connected to the source of good, you can't really identify what's good and bad. Right now, human beings lived for a long time after that, but they are like spiritually dead. They're physically alive, they're emotionally alive, but spiritually dead. So reality is now you have all this lifespan left, but you don't have the source coming for you, right? So this tree, the knowledge of good and evil, is really an eye-opening where your mind is more in control than really your heart. Because till this day, God still speaks to our heart.
Yeah. I think of like childlike faith, because
Yeah.
they don't know. When they start knowing, like when they're 2,
Yeah.
like it changes, right? Like suddenly, I just want sugar. Like I just
Yeah,
want,
the moment you
like
know.
the second you introduce something
Yeah, exactly.
to them
Yeah.
that they or something
Oh,
that
this is an option?
yeah, like this is an option. Like, oh, I
Yes.
can lie.
Yes.
That's an option.
That's an option.
Like I have choices,
Yeah.
and I can, those are not so. Make good choices.
Yes.
Yes.
So do you want to wrap up?
Yeah, I can wrap up. No, you can wrap up.
Okay. Well, if you were to take one thing from this little podcast today, I believe it's really, our message here is simple. It's to be able to identify what's good and what's bad in your life, and know what the source of it is, and really the way out of it. Anxiety, mental issues, financial issues, whatever it is that you are facing on a daily basis, know that it does not come from God. One, it came from a product of sin in the world. And the only way out, or the best way out, right? You can spend hundreds of dollars on therapy, right? You have a therapy business, or you could just go to God. It's free, and it's easy, and it's simple, and it's really just a faith thing. All He requires to come to Him is to believe that He exists, and He will help you.
It's getting reconnected back to the original. Yeah.
Intended
You were never
purpose.
meant to have this type of suffering and
Yeah.
this type of pain.
Or do it
That's-
alone.
Or to do it alone, but it was never meant for that. And I feel bad for Adam and Eve. It's like
They get blamed for
they
a
get
lot.
blamed for it, and I think if I go to heaven, how does it feel to be literally the first
Well,
humans?
It was a responsibility. They were the first ones,
Yeah.
right? It's like being the oldest. All right.
All right. Well, if you're enjoying this so far, please subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in our next episode.